She's really extraordinary that way, and she's taught me a lot that way.
Really?
Yeah. She brings people together.
Love, loss, regret, redemption. At 61, Brad Pitt just said the words fans have waited decades to hear. She was the love of my life. But who was he talking about? Jennifer Aniston? And why now? For years, silence and scandal buried Hollywood's most iconic love triangle. But now, Brad has reopened the door. And it's not what anyone expected. Was their story ever really over, or just paused? In this video, we uncover Brad's shocking confession, the emotional fallout of his past relationships, and the new woman who's helping him heal. Backed by real interviews, public sightings, and recent court drama, this isn't just another Hollywood love story. It's Brad Pitt's truth, finally told. The fairy tale that shattered. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston's love story wasn't born out of scandal, spectacle, or strategy. It began simply, with a quiet introduction by their managers in the mid-1990s. At the time, both actors were rebounding from high-profile breakups. Brad had ended his engagement to Gwyneth Paltrow, while Jennifer had split from actor Tate Donovan. What followed was a connection that, to the public eye, felt refreshingly organic. They kept their budding romance low-key at first, but by 1999, they were ready to step into the spotlight. Their official debut as a couple at the Emmy Awards that year was the moment fans had been waiting for, and it instantly catapulted them into Hollywood's favorite power couple status. Their engagement was equally enchanting. In a moment straight out of a movie, Brad reportedly proposed to Jennifer during a Sting concert in New York City. The ring he gave her was a custom-designed piece, diamond and platinum, with 7 months of planning behind it, a sign of just how seriously he took the relationship. On July 29, 2000, the couple tied the knot in Malibu in a ceremony that blended elegance with intimacy. The guest list was A-list heavy, but their vows made headlines for their playful warmth. Jennifer promised to make Brad banana milkshakes, and he vowed to share the remote and adjust the thermostat. It was the kind of quirky, grounded moment that made their relationship feel relatable despite the glitz. In the fullness of their marriage, Brad and Jen were quickly set up as the perfect couple of early 2000s Hollywood. At red carpet events, they were practically inseparable, with cameras clicking away from all angles at all times. They had an office now called Plan B Entertainment, set up as a production company during the course of this happy union, for the creative couple who never held back on ambition. They also appeared together on screen in the memorable Friends Thanksgiving Fest 2001, wherein they invited Brad as Will Colbert, a high school friend who carried a grudge against Rachel Green Aniston's infamous character. While that cameo actually turned into history's most remembered episodes, it also provided a rare behind-the-scenes view of their sizzling chemistry in front of the camera. Periphery. The scenes, however, that crumbling began. By 2003, murmurs began about the couple being in distress. Friends of both parties were noticing that their schedules were becoming totally unmanageable from each other, and that there were whispers about growing emotional distance. Among the most persistent stories was that of children. Jennifer spoke in the media about her wishes to have her own family. While she managed to balance motherhood and career, as well as Brad would also like to have kids in the future. He would want them to have a big family, even imagining having 7 kids. Though all these things were public, however, the couple did not add up numbers in their family. Hence, this led to speculations that their individual personal agendas did not mesh as might have been expected. In a bid to become even more contradictory, Jennifer opened her heart to W magazine about whether Brad was the love of her life, and that stopped everyone in their tracks. "I don't know. He's certainly a big love in my life. Not bitter, not cold, but not concrete either. Her thoughtful and honest words implied that somewhere beneath the surface, a tenuous relationship lurked, something the world refused to acknowledge. After that, fans who had labeled this couple as Kim and Carla discovered that perhaps the most flawless love stories are built on a thick layer of uncertainty. A joint statement was released in January 2005 announcing their separation to stem the rumor mill. There was no third party. There was no scandal. The couple just found it difficult to come to a decision about a matter they still cared for deeply. But the timing and everything else that followed suddenly raised many, many questions about everything. After months, the divorce filing followed, officially ending what had seemed at one point to be a real-life romantic fantasy. Nevertheless, the story did not end with their split. For most, the love between Brad and Jen was not erased, just put on hold. But while fans believed in a forever love, something else was already quietly unraveling behind the scenes. When Brangelina broke the internet, when Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston announced their separation in January 2005, fans were heartbroken, but many still believed the split was amicable and free from scandal. That illusion didn't last long. Just months after the separation, photos emerged of Brad vacationing on a beach in Kenya with none other than his Mr. and Mrs. Smith co-star, Angelina Jolie, and her young son, Maddox. The images were explosive. The public perception shifted instantly. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a love triangle. Brad and Angelina had denied rumors of an affair while filming, but their undeniable chemistry in the film, and now their cozy beach getaway, only fueled speculation that something had been brewing long before Jennifer and Brad officially ended things. The press dubbed the new couple Brangelina, and their relationship quickly became the most talked-about story in entertainment media. Rumors swirled that Brad and Angelina had fallen in love on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and despite their denials, the timing raised eyebrows. Many believed Jennifer had been blindsided. The narrative of America's sweetheart being left for the sultry, globe-trotting Angelina was irresistible to tabloids, and fans were quick to take sides. Angelina, already known for her edgy persona and humanitarian work, was cast as the femme fatale. Jennifer, the relatable girl next door, was seen as the wronged wife. It didn't matter what the real story was. Public opinion had made up its mind. Inevitably, talk turned to Brad's marriage to Jennifer Aniston. Angelina herself would later state in an interview that she and Brad fell in love filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, cementing the idea that their relationship had overlapped with his marriage and prompting the infamous online buzz about cheating. While neither Brad nor Angelina ever confirmed any affairs, the very implication gave the internet a field day. The undeniable chemistry kept the speculation swirling, with everyone wondering about the effects of their on-screen acquaintance on their actual lives. With Brad and Jen's clouds hanging gloomily in the background, the new couple became a spectacle as their own fame rose to dizzying heights. The first couple of days of the Brangelina storm were mostly silent for Jennifer. Eventually, however, she broke her silence with an interview in Vogue and called the whole situation uncool. It was a calm but cutting remark that echoed what many of her fans believed, that while people end relationships, the way one does so matters. And rumors swirled that Jennifer had a blindsiding effect because of pictures and Angelina's remarks. But Jen remained dignified and continued her work, living life as she would have done anyway, albeit rarely coming out for public bitterness, while all tabloids continued to compare her with Angelina. However, Brangelina has grown seriously into their relationship. Together, They adopted children, traveled together, and then built a public image that was a combination of glitter and philanthropy. They then became a global force, not just Hollywood royalty, but also humanitarian powerhouses. Being photographed in refugee camps, appearing at the United Nations, they used their positions regularly to promote causes around the globe. Their relationship felt bigger than celebrity. It became symbolic of an era, a new one, more purpose-driven in stardom. But still, even after climbing toward their peak, the shadow of their earliest days never entirely wore off. Even today, fans are still debating the origins of Brangelina. Did Brad emotionally leave his marriage before the actual date of separation? Was the chemistry with Angelina too much to ignore? Did the extreme scrutiny from the public break Jennifer's heart even more? Those questions still somehow remain as part of the lore surrounding this love triangle. What is for sure is that Brangelina did not simply end a marriage. It changed the face of pop culture. The internet crashed, the media fed on the blaze, and a new chapter in Hollywood had begun, one filled with glamour, controversy, and broken hearts galore. But their seemingly perfect world would soon face fractures of its own. A marriage built on fire. When Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie officially stepped into the public spotlight as a couple, the world was already captivated. Their debut as partners followed months of speculation after Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and while their relationship had controversial beginnings, it quickly evolved into something far more complex than tabloid fodder. Together, they embraced a lifestyle that was anything but ordinary. With a growing blended family and an insatiable appetite for travel, humanitarian work, and creative pursuits, Brangelina represented a new kind of Hollywood royalty. Cosmopolitan, mission-driven, and intensely private about the inner workings of their home life. Their home base soon became Chateau Miraval, a sprawling estate and vineyard in the south of France. Purchased in 2008, the property became both a sanctuary and a symbol of their shared ambitions. It was there, in 2014, after nearly a decade together and 6 children between them, that Brad and Angelina finally married. The ceremony was intimate and deeply personal. Their children played a central role, from writing their parents' vows to decorating the cake. It was the kind of wedding that seemed to encapsulate everything the public had come to associate with Brangelina: family first, sentimental, and far from traditional Hollywood glitz. Beneath the surface of the idyllic image of the couple lies an increasing amount of tension. Their world travels, demanding careers, and the pressure of raising a big family were said to have taken a toll on their relationship. Increasingly, rumors started to circulate about raised voices in private and differing opinions on parenting and discipline. Another huge sore point, said some, was Brad's alleged drinking problems, which he would later admit to. Whereas the couple appeared to be putting on a brave face together in public, those closest to the couple suggested that behind closed doors, things were wearing thin, slowly but surely. In 2016, all things were different. Angelina Jolie had soon parted ways with Brad Pitt following an infamous private jet trip to Los Angeles from France. Angelina cited irreconcilable differences days after the marriage dissolution filing. The incident aboard the flight has attracted intense scrutiny and legal wrangling ever since. Reports alleged that Brad had become verbally and physically aggressive during the flight, more than just an initial inquiry by the FBI and Child Protective Services. No one was formally charged, but the fallout was colossal. The picture that framed Brangelina as the ultimate modern family starts giving way to darker, more complex themes. In the aftermath, Brad came forward and acknowledged that he had problems with alcohol, which he allowed to get out of control. He said he had been attending Alcoholics Anonymous and was committed to making changes in his life. Those who were closest to him recounted a person deeply anguished, haunted by the collapse of his family, and conscious that he shared some of the blame. The road to sobriety was not only a point of gossip, but also a main ingredient in the remake of his private and professional lives. In interviews, he spoke of being someone who had gone too far and was now seeking to regain it all piece by piece. Unlike a popular relationship ending, Brangelina proved itself to be myth-shattering in the invulnerability attached to such international couples. It was initially glossy, including all humanitarian awards, family photos, and the like. Yet, when the marriage ruptured, it became evident that no love story, internal or external, is sufficient to hold together such relationships. Personal and deep are the consequences for Brangelina. It's not just losing a partner, it's losing the whole identity he built, the life he embraced, all the images the world projected onto him. And in that wreckage, he began a long, painful process of reflection and reinvention. As Brangelina's empire burned, Brad found himself emotionally wrecked, lost in a life he no longer recognized. The SAG Awards touch. In January 2020, a single moment at the Screen Actors Guild Awards sent the internet into a frenzy. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, once Hollywood's golden couple, crossed paths backstage after both had won awards that night. What happened next was subtle. Just a touch of the wrist, a shared smile, and a fleeting moment of connection. But it became one of the most talked-about pop culture events of the year. For fans who had watched their relationship unfold, crash, and quietly settle into history, the brief reunion was electric. It wasn't just about nostalgia. It was about the possibility of healing, reconnection, and maybe even redemption. Their interaction was captured in a series of photographs and video clips that instantly went viral. One showed Brad gently holding Jen's wrist as she walked away, his face lit with pride. Another showed her reaching back to touch his arm. There was no scripted exchange, no staged PR stunt, just genuine warmth between two people who had once shared a deeply personal history. The moment reignited long-dormant emotions among fans who had never quite let go of the idea of Brad and Jen as soulmates. Twitter lit up with speculation. Headlines ran Puruti stories with titles like "The Touch That Broke the Internet" and "Is There Still Hope?" Moments linger beyond the SAG Awards. In fact, this reunion probably made its waves not after the event, but caused the first ripple of most reunion rumors when Brad attended Jennifer's star-studded 50th birthday bash in 2019. That said, the event was actually intimate and celebratory, attended by only a handful of close friends such as George Clooney and Reese Witherspoon. As far as developments about their romance are concerned, sources have described the vibe as friendly and warm. However, one could think that it would stir up enough commotion for the public who has still not lost interest in the story. Brad and Jen seem to be communicating again, laughing, smiling, and being seen together. Everything has to be on its way up to the roof. Within that very year, the two of them came together, actually for an online charity table read of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, simultaneously reimagined as a flirtation between characters. Chemistry was undeniable as they made these characters flirt in an updated script. Although the event was frivolous and amusing, fans just could not help analyzing everything spelt with an everything, from one glance to one laugh to every hint of familiarity. This interaction was very playful, professional, but had a kind of comfort that spoke volumes about their common past. Easy rapport that can't be faked. And once again, the internet exploded. Over this period, Brad made a multitude of public remarks on Jennifer, which only stoked the flames. One of them read very widely, calling her an incredibly giving, loving, and hilarious woman. Although he took great care to phrase things in the past tense about their relationship, the warmth of his words was unmistakable. He acknowledged their shared history and emphasized the respect they still held for each other. Speculations ran rampant about a rekindled romance, although sources close to both sides were always saying they were just friends. But then again, the public was not ready to give up on this fantasy. The symbolism of these moments for the fans was love that, albeit a little broken, could come full circle. The SAG Awards affair became a contemporary myth, conjuring forth images of reconciliation, transformation, and emotional blossoming. Brad and Jen were different people now. They had lived, they had lost, they had grown. But somehow, every dynamic changed back to where it had begun. With some tension, or even love in between, that one brush of their hands reminded the world of a tale that was broken, but never healed. But even as the world whispered about Jen, another woman quietly stepped into Brad's life. Inside Brad's new life. In the years following his highly publicized divorce from Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt remained relatively quiet about his personal life. That changed when whispers of a new relationship began to surface, this time with someone outside the usual A-list spotlight. Her name? Ines de Ramon, a 32-year-old jewelry designer with a low profile and a calm presence that stood in sharp contrast to the chaos of Brad's past. First linked in late 2022, their relationship steadily gained traction. By 2023, they were spotted hand-in-hand at high-profile events in Tokyo, London, and Los Angeles. Unlike Brad's past romances, this one didn't explode into the tabloids. Instead, it simmered quietly, growing out of the public eye and away from scandal. Ines, who was previously married to actor Paul Wesley, brought a sense of stability and ease into Brad's life. Those close to him described her as grounded and nurturing, someone who preferred private dinners and quiet weekends over red carpets and headlines. Sources began to claim that Ines was a really great influence on Brad, noting a shift in his demeanor. He was smiling more, appearing more relaxed and open in public. Rumors swirled that she had helped him build healthier routines, encouraging his continued sobriety and pushing him to focus on his wellness, both physically and emotionally. By 2024 summer, the reports seemed to suggest that the duo was sharing space. The couple was often seen entering and leaving the same residences in Los Angeles, although neither has confirmed the move. According to insiders, they have blended into each other's lives without effort, often traveling together and spending time with mutual friends. While fans have remained curious for updates, Brad and Ines have been very private about their relationship. No red carpets, no interviews, just some candid snaps and quiet times. That has further deepened the mystery, as Brad's past romances have been much more public. The striking feature of this relationship is its very lack of fanfare. Brad appears to have found solace with Ines after decades of public scrutiny in high-profile romances, first with Gwyneth Paltrow, then Jennifer Aniston, and finally Angelina Jolie. According to their friends, there is no wedding in sight. Both appear to be enjoying the moment and avoiding public pressure to contemplate future plans. This has sparked speculation that at 61, Brad has entered a phase where companionship is more valued than grand gestures. It's a romance on peace rather than spectacle. Along with this new chapter comes a complete glow-up for Brad. He is now 61 years old and accustomed to an eccentric and avant-garde aesthetic, usually created by not just one celebrity stylist, but a duo credited with giving him a new wardrobe. He is also diving deep into wellness trends, apparently from skincare and grooming to creating personal brands reflective of his new approach. Brad has been attending numerous events in support of his Formula One film project, and the masculinity and vivacity that many have not seen from him in years flow through him. Those who have seen him are convinced that he appears lighter, freer, like a man who has cast off burdens from his past. But even in a new relationship, Brad couldn't ignore what had been lost, especially with his children. The custody battle. Brad Pitt's long, complicated split from Angelina Jolie didn't end with the dissolution of their marriage. It evolved into one of the most bitter and drawn-out custody and legal battles in modern celebrity history. Though the divorce was officially finalized in December 2024, after nearly 8 years, the drama is far from over. At the center of the most recent tension is Chateau Miraval, the French vineyard and estate the couple once shared. Just weeks ago, in July 2025, Pitt filed a new court motion requesting private messages from Jolie, part of his ongoing attempt to prove that she acted with malice when she sold her stake in the winery to a business rival. The legal documents cite her 2021 sale to Stoli's wine division, Tenute del Mondo, and allege that Jolie deliberately excluded Pitt in a vindictive move meant to hurt him both financially and personally. The winery dispute has become a symbol of a broader breakdown in trust and cooperation. Pitt's motion also seeks to depose Alexei Olinik, a Stoli executive believed to possess vital information regarding the sale. Jolie's lawyers, however, have painted a different picture by asserting that she sold the estate only after Pitt allegedly attempted to coerce her into signing an NDA, preventing her from discussing a now famous 2016 incident on the couple's private jet. That flight, where emotional and physical altercations allegedly took place between Pitt, Jolie, and the children, continues to be a flashpoint in their legal battle. Jolie describes the NDA demand as an attempt at covering up that very incident, using it in support of her contention of his controlling and abusive behavior. Brad has stated that he fully accepts responsibility for everything he has done in his life, especially in terms of his struggles with alcohol. He went to Alcoholics Anonymous after the incident on the jet and started opening up about his path to sobriety. His legal counsel, however, categorically rejected the much more serious allegations of abuse, dubbing them exaggerated or untrue. They did this in a statement published in 2022 stating, "Brad has owned everything he is responsible for from day one, unlike the other side, but he's not going to own anything he didn't do." The entire legal between the two indicates that this has taken a serious toll on them, most painfully, their children. Arguably, the heaviest scars from the Jolie-Pitt saga are the emotional ones inflicted on their 6 children, Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, and twins Knox and Vivian. It has been alleged over the past couple of years that several of the children have distanced themselves from Brad. Maddox and Pax are said to have completely severed ties since they are now adults. Zahara, who recently made headlines for joining a prestigious sorority at Spelman College, is also rumored to be moving closer to her mother. Most strikingly, Shiloh filed legal documents in 2024 to remove Pitt from her surname when she became 18 years old, a symbolic gesture that took the media by storm. Reports soon surfaced indicating Knox and Vivian may be doing the same. Insiders favored by Brad told that he is crushed by the emotional distance growing between him and his children. Reportedly, he has tried to reconnect, especially with his biological children, but the results are uncertain. The hurt from all their children's rejection was heavy upon his heart, especially after having built a family that once eluded being so cohesive. He is said to be quietly heartbroken, And although he is still trying to seek legal means, there is an unshakable sense of emotional resignation that what is lost might never return. And through all the emotional wreckage, one name, one woman, remained constant in the hearts of fans. The one that got away? Nearly 2 decades after their headline-grabbing divorce, Brad Pitt stunned fans with a quietly vulnerable statement. Jennifer Aniston was the love of my life. The confession reportedly came during a private conversation in June 2025, later leaked to the press. Though brief, the words reverberated across the internet. For years, fans had speculated whether Brad had ever truly gotten over his first wife. Now, with that single statement, the idea that their story might still carry emotional weight was revived. It wasn't a declaration of romantic intent, but it was a window into his regrets. And perhaps a deeper truth he hadn't fully shared before. Jennifer's journey since the end of her marriage to Brad has been one of quiet resilience and personal growth. After their 2005 split, she poured herself into work and self-reflection. In interviews over the years, she's acknowledged the emotional impact of their divorce, even calling it devastating, but she never indulged in bitterness. Instead, she focused on healing through therapy and maintaining strong friendships. Her roles evolved, showcasing more dramatic range, and she earned renewed critical respect beyond her friend's legacy. She became a symbol not of heartbreak, but of strength, dignity, and moving forward on her own terms. In 2012, Jennifer entered into the arms of her true love, the screenwriter and actor Justin Theroux. The couple was engaged for some time before formally marrying in a private ceremony in 2015. For a while, it looked like Jennifer had started writing her new chapter. But then the marriage ended in 2018, and once again, she bore herself with dignity. Jennifer rarely made public comments about Brad during this time, except for the few times she did, where she carried herself in grace. She referred to him as someone she nonetheless loved, someone who had been a significant part of her life. There was no public bitterness, only maturity and respect for each other. It was that grace that drew her even closer to the heart of those who kept hoping for her. Express especially remarkable about Jennifer's relationship with Brad at the moment, with warmth and peace around the two. Their moments of friendly reunion, such as birthday parties, and now the famous SAG Awards wrist-touch tell of a couple that has moved beyond pain. Brad's public mention of Jennifer now carries that affectionate tone. He has described her as loving, giving, and hilarious. While romantically alighting fan imaginations, neither has given any sign that a reconciliation is in the cards. But the kind of closeness that they share, that comfort of knowing each other so well, says so much more. Giving rise to an impression amongst the fans, Jennifer is now said to be the emotional anchor of Brad, even from far away. Not only did his life with Angelina Jolie come to an ugly end, followed by court hearings, alienated children, and accusations, but it has been quite a low-key, respectful bond with Jennifer. In this world where he rose, fell, and tried to start over yet again, she is the only person who has never uttered a bad word about him. Best viewed as the what-if, the girl who knew him before everything turned out to be as close to a simpler, more grounded version of his life. It is a tale that resonates deeply with the public, although the merits and demerits of such are open to question. If you felt this story hit deeper than just celebrity drama, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And don't miss our next video, where we unpack the untold secrets of another Hollywood icon. See you there.